Yeah, of course, there's this aspect of trustee and being honest. I remember in Madhuban, Mount Abu dialogue at the end of the 90s. And we were in small groups with these contact souls. In the group that I was in, people were so honest about their difficulties and about their efforts and so on. And so we created a phrase, how honesty creates ease, makes things easy. You don't need to run around. That's why it's connected with being plain, straight and simple. And if we're protectors of the yoga, it's probably the main quality we have to have in the way that we value things. But not only that, I want to share with you a few ideas, but this whole idea of getting upset with others, what is it that happens? And how can we respond with showers of flowers in our words if something really not very good happens? And this is where we are tested. We're always tested in our weak points. And how is it that we can become that detached observer so that we are playing our awareness? It means our awareness is pure and unmixed with any sort of rubbish. And so the thoughts, words, and actions come out really, really beautifully. And that creates a very powerful and pure vibration around us. And that's probably the main contribution that we can give to the yajna as the yajna's protectors. The yajna is like a flame, so a flame of both our love, but it's also the flame of our surrender, our giving to Baba. And of course, the flame is burning because of not only my efforts, but the efforts of everyone. So if I, get upset, it's like throwing a bucket of water on the flames of the yajna. If I get angry, especially in Baba's house, it's like, I'm just putting out the fire of the yajna. And that, in fact, this afternoon we were having a meeting with the core group here about service. And, we don't have people so great, in online service, which is like our main type of service these days. People tend not to come to our centers physically. They prefer to listen to things online. And we don't have such great presenters, but what we do have is the purity that we can create an attraction to the center through the flame of the yajna, but with our purity. So I love this idea that Didi brought up about sharpening our awareness and eliminating the gap between our aim and the practice. I want to share with you some images, and like Baba said today about the storms of Maya. So I want to show you something here. It's like, this is a picture of a hurricane. Yeah. And you can see in the middle here, I'm just running the mouse over it. This is so-called eye of the storm. And from one side to the other, this is a picture of a hurricane in the Caribbean, which is quite a popular place for hurricanes to form. The distance between here and here is about 25 kilometers. So the winds are it's like 300 kilometers or 400 kilometers from one side and the other to the hurricane. And the winds are near the eye, just around the rim of the eye, they're like 200, 300 kilometers per hour. But in the eye, they're only 25 kilometers per hour. So this is a symbol of when there's a storm, the best place to be is in the eye of the storm and not being carried around by the winds of circumstance. So if I go to the center of whatever's happening around me. And this is very useful when we're interacting with others, and before we get upset, before we start along, feeding our own negative sanskars into the situations, which ends up sort of disturbing not only the center, but it disturbs the flames of the yajna, right? And Baba says, please give value to the yajna that he's created. That was today's Murli. So I want to show you what could these winds be at a personal level. There are sort of stuck here. To go out, go back in again. I'm sorry about this. It got stuck. So you've got here, again, the eye of the storm. Again, it's stuck again. Oh dear. I will just talk to it anyway. So you get the idea of the eye of a storm, yeah? So you've got this eye, which is a space from which we can observe things, what people are doing, how people are. And Baba says, be trikaldashi, not only for ourselves when we're thinking about the cycle, but we should be trikaldashi when we look with others. Since this series is about living with and working with others, it's absolutely a good practice to be trikaldashi with others. And to be trikaldashi, I have to become detached. I have to go to the eye of the storm or the winds of circumstance going around and around. And then I can see more clearly. So what does that mean? So it's all about living and working with others. So I have to see others as in the whole part. Every single soul has a past, a present, and a future. If I just get stuck in the present and my circumstances and my egos and what someone said and what I should react as and all of the latest information about that, I become locked into a very limited perspective, or rather a limited awareness. And what I have to do is to open that out. So every soul has a future. So if someone's doing something not very good, what is the consequence of that? If I can see the soul later on paying for that particular bad act, I will be merciful. And let me give that soul a past as well. Everyone has a past. Every single attitude has a history. And so if I can see a bigger story, I will have the right context, and I'll be able to, I'll be able to have compassion. And so it's all about opening up and seeing, So I'm in the middle of this situation where things are pressuring on me from all sides. So at a physical level, I have to look after my health, I have to look after my finances, I have to look after the family, I have to look after the connection that I have with the center, I have to look after all sorts of interests. And there are two ways of doing that. I can be caught up in the winds of all of those things. My contacts are pressuring here, the family's pressuring there, I have to do the service in the center, I have to go to my job. So if I'm just jumping around from one thing to the other, I won't be able to have a stable vision. And of course, stability is very important to keep things plain, right? Plain also means flat in a way. It's like there's no mixture. It's very simple, as Didi was saying. So if I want to keep myself simple, I have to go to the eye of the storm, which is relatively calm. I can look at all of these winds going around and the pressures that are coming in from service, the pressures that are coming in from my job, from my family, all of those things are around me, but I'm in the middle. And just like if someone is in the center of a circle, the center doesn't move. The center does not move. And if it's a sort of even if it's a disc spinning around, the center of something doesn't move. Everything moves around it, but the center is still. So I have to train myself to always go to the center of things. There are 360 degrees of things happening around me physically. I'm in the middle between the past and the future. I'm in the present. Present is still also. And I'm also in the center of my life. So in the center of my life, I have different relationships and connections with people and things. And if I become stable in the center, what happens is that I will have a positive impact on the people and things that are connected with me. My peace will spread out from the center. I'm in the center, I'm detached, I'm observing. And observation has to be trikaldashi. I'm seeing the past, the present, and the future of what's going on. So I have the full perspective. I don't get upset. And if I don't get upset, I don't get angry. And I can continue to shower the words in, shower flowers in my words. So it's a very subtle thing. And in this dharma-based leadership course, we look deeply into this, how to stay still. Once I took a picture of the lake in Peace Village, and that particular morning, it was like 5 in the morning, the sun was already up, it was in the summer. And the lake was completely still, like a mirror, completely a mirror. And somehow I was holding the phone and taking the photo. And with the other hand, I picked up a rock and threw it in the lake. And suddenly that perfect picture of the reflection was completely disturbed. You couldn't see anything anymore. So when the mind is still, it's like a lake that has become a mirror. And therefore it can reflect correctly what's around. If it becomes disturbed, I can't reflect correctly about anything. So I have to make it up, I have to invent, I have to interpret, I have to imagine. But if my mind is clear and plain, I can see things. I can reflect very clearly about things. And then I can understand things. And if I fully understand things, really, it's impossible to get upset and angry with anyone. And my tendency will be to be sweet and kind and clear and, as you were saying, beautiful, have a beautiful personality. But if I'm caught up in the winds of circumstances, whatever they are, relationships, connections, money, health, I will be less disposed to be kind, because half of me will be fighting the situations, and there's not enough energy left over to either understand the people around me and the things that are happening, neither can I respond to things in a beautiful way. So these were just a few thoughts that, I was listening to them all in. I was trying to get something out of this Dharma-based leadership course to share with you. And this is what I came up with just very, very quickly. So being at the center of things, I can become a detached observer because I have activated my Trikaldashi consciousness. And I also become, therefore, more loving, more kind, more understanding of the things around me. And, And that way, that's probably the best contribution I can make to the yajna. We can give money, we can give time, we can give our talents to the yajna. But probably the best thing that we can give to the yajna is our pure thinking and our pure way of seeing people and interacting with them. That's the best contribution to the yajna. Okay, so let's have some meditation now.